All right, hello everyone. Welcome back. Let's do some European predictions. We just had the Swiss stage that ended like, what, 3 hours ago? And so let's get into it. I know most of what happened. I wasn't able to catch most of the Swiss stage. Oh, Cody's name is in the middle here. Follow this guy on Twitter. He's cool. But we'll be going through Swiss stage, like looking at the results of what happened. Same here. The Dignitas banner is updated now. Also, sorry if I sound a little bit sick. I'm a little bit sick. Apparently that's a theme this year. Hopefully it's not going to be a theme much longer. But let's get into it. Dignitas fast forward. Both these guys made top 8 last event. We saw it go 4-0 to Dignitas' way. I feel like it's going to be a 3-2 this time, though. For some reason, Dig in groups last time just looked very shaky. They got taken to 5 by, I forget the org name, but it was Cash's team that was Tokyo Tigers up until the day before the event. They got taken to 5, game 5 overtime, I think, by JJ Rocks. It was a really close series. So even though this was a sweep in the playoffs, I'm going to predict the 5-game series here. Smokey Bacon and BSK. I like the Smokey Bacon squad, but this BSK roster is kind of on a heater. I like this matchup a lot, honestly. I'm pretty excited for it. I'll give it to 3-2 BSK. Rest Easy gets another win in the main event, goes on to face Dig. This quadrant is ridiculous because we just saw this matchup in the top 8 as well. 100% is really good, supposedly, at least from last split, but they've gotten groups with these guys. Synergy did go to 5 in the Swiss, so we'll check out what their run was later when I have to do them in the lowers, but this should be another sweep, in my opinion. Ninja's got to take that. Then Karmine 100%, probably 3-1, but I'll still give it Karmine's way. It's very difficult to bet against them. Over into Group B, we've got a pretty solid Vitality top 6 run. This is going to be so easy for them. 3-0 here. Dopamine is KDOP, Astral, and Reese Fox, I believe. But they're facing off against Caliente, which is Saizen's team. Hold on. Okay, so Caliente is Saizen, Noasaka, and Charlie B. Fair enough. And Dopamine is, KDOP, Astral, Reese Fox. So, honestly, I'm definitely not as excited for this match. I'll give it 3-2 in Caliente's way. I don't have confidence in either of these teams, though, to be honest with you. I'm sorry. Geek versus Chippy Chips. Chippy Chips is Lhasa, Chippy, and Jupe. Geek, you guys better win this. And then Gentleman versus Money ATM. I like the Money ATM team where it's a Chronic Tempo and Matt. I think they're pretty solid. They missed the Swiss stage last time, I believe. Maybe it wasn't Swiss. They definitely missed main event. I'll give them the 1 game, but should still be going to Gentleman's comfortably. Let's bounce over to this group. Dignitas BSK. I could see an upset here, honestly. If Dig are looking in the same group stage form as they were last event, I could easily see this being an upset. You know what? To make things interesting, let's call it. BSK makes the top 6 run. Ninja's Karmine Corp. We saw it a couple times. I thought we were going to see it again in the playoffs, but then Ninja's lost to Gentlemates. Karmine did lose in the Swiss stage to Geek. It's still too early to be calling main event losses, though, at least here. So we'll give it 3-1 in favor of KCorp. Drop down here for Fast Forward and Smokey Bacon. I know Fast Forward just made top 8. I feel like they did it beating Smokey Bacon, to be honest, so I will predict it that way as well. I'll go 3-1. It's a tough draw for Smokey Bacon, to be honest, but it's actually all of Group A is just ridiculously stacked, in my opinion. I like most of these teams more than most of these teams. Genuinely, I think I rate only 2 teams above here. There's only 2 teams, in my opinion, in Group B. Or actually 3. Gentlemates is here as well. There's 3 teams in Group B that I think are better than the 8. Other than that, I take 8, the 8th best team in this group, over the 4th best team in this group. And you can call me crazy for that, but I just think the groups are that stacked. Synergy 100%. This is going to be a brutal event for 100% as well. I just think they're in the bracket portion of death. Let's look at Synergy's Swiss run first. So that's helpful. I'm glad to see that happened. Let's do it here. They beat Bill's Balls. They lost to KDOP. They beat Super Team. They lost to Karmine Corp, and then they beat BS. So Karmine Corp here is a difficult draw. I'm not going to blame them for that. I will blame them for losing to KDOP, though, to be honest. That shouldn't be happening. This makes me a little bit sad. BDS didn't make this event. I'm also very annoyed by that. I want them to be doing well, and they're unfortunately not living up to the expectations just yet. But, yeah. Synergy, 100%. It was Karmine Corp, you know? It was Karmine Corp. And then 100% also went to round 5, so if I'm going to hold it against them, I should hold it against them. Should probably look at the actual website. We've got Bing Bong. They beat Fast Forward, in fairness. These guys barely qualified, but they also had mates here. Then they lost to KCorp, or not KCorp. KCorp is no longer on Vitality. They lost to Vitality and then Sizen, and then they beat Dangerous Esports Club. Fun fact, this is the first event that Cash has ever missed as well. So, it's a little tragic. Yeah, I'll stick with my 3-1, Synergy over 100%. Unfortunately, it's just not looking good for 100% right now. Vitality and Caliente, this should be a sweep. And then Geeky Gentlemates. I'm actually really excited for this potential matchup as well. I was saying after the rankings of last week that I want to see Gentlemates against the Dignitases and the Geekys of the world, because at least like these two teams may land, Dig and Geeky that is. And Gentlemates, yes, they performed really well against Karmine Corp, but I want to hesitate for a moment before ranking Gentlemates above them based on playing Karmine close. If Geeky weren't coming off of beating KCorp in the Swiss, I would be predicting Gentlemates here. I'll have it go 5. Geeky wins it this time. It'll be close, but the fact, even if it's, you know, Swiss, doesn't matter, yada, 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 they still took down KCorp pretty recently. It's only KCorp's 3rd loss on the season, period. And, like, it might not be much in the grand scheme of things, but it's got to be confidence-inspiring, and I'll use that momentum to predict them over Gentlemates. I got to do this first. Bob Burrito, Bandito, Smashy, Valid, and Davoof, and Stopamine. KCorp. If KCorp wins up here against Caliente, they're probably making top 8, to be honest. And then Chippy Chips versus Money ATM. I was talking about Money ATM. I like them a solid amount. I'll give them the 3-1. Then I'll start here. Gentlemates Dopamine. This should be going Gentlemates' way pretty comfortably. Again, if KCorp ends up in this matchup against Money ATM, I can see them taking it. These are two teams that missed the last main event. One of them is going to be making top 8. I will predict it to go. I'll predict it to go a Chronic Tempo and Matt's way. I do like. I mean, Sizen Nowasaki Charlie B is not a bad squad. I'm just going to put my faith in a Chronic showing up in the big moment, because at least on start point in that game 7 against Ascend, felt like he was the one who was going to show up big for them. He did. No reason to doubt them. In another world, this is Optic versus Shopify Rebellion for my Halo esports fans. I'm sure you'll recognize the 2 shades of green squaring off against each other. Instead, for us, it's Ninjas versus Fast Forward. This should go Ninja's way pretty comfortably as well. It's a tough draw for Fast Forward to face Ninjas here, but really anyone who got drawn into Group A is having a tough draw. Dignitas Synergy, same story. This should be going Dignitas' way. I'm going to predict it in 5, though, even though this is actually very similar to what they did. It's just a worse loss than Geeky, where they scrape by in their first round, they lose up here, and then they scrape by in their bottom round. So that's what I'll have going into the playoffs. Come on, Geeky again. Nice. Let's start down here. It sets up for Ninja's Gentlemates. That's crazy. How does that work out? Ninjas are the 2 seed and Gentlemates are the 3 seed. But because Dignitas are the 1 seed dropping down. Wow. Incredible. Last time we saw it go Gentlemates' way. Did they face in the Swiss this time? I don't think they did. No, they did, and Ninjas took it. That being said, Ninjas took it in the Swiss last event and then lost to them in the playoffs. Ninjas are outside of a land spot this time. It's more important for Ninjas to win. I'll predict it 4-3. Actually, I'll predict it 4-2. Because I have a hard time believing that if it goes Champions Field, Ninjas closes it out, to be honest. I don't really like the fact that Gentlemates go out top 8. It's really a byproduct of the bracket, to be honest. But they also lost to Geeky, so we'll see. Dignitas 8 DM. This will be another sweep that's kind of boring, to be honest. No offense to them. Do I do this again? Vitality BSK should be very one-sided, and I predict it will be. Same for this. We did see Geeky win in the Swiss. It won't happen again. I'll give him the 1 game out of respect. Karmine takes that. Geeky Dignitas down here again, of course. We're just going to make the points very, very even in Europe. These guys have been trading back and forth. I currently have Dignitas ranked higher just based on the fact that they took the last head-to-head. I'm going to predict a Geeky 4-2 here. I'm going to have Geeky getting themselves back in the conversation. Ninjas and BSK should be a clean series for Ninjas. This top 6 run by BSK, if they do make it, I unfortunately don't see them going very far once we get to the playoff bracket. And then we've got a top 4 in Europe that we kind of would come to expect at this point. Karmine Ninjas. I predicted Ninjas over Karmine last event. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be boring. I'm sorry. Ninjas experienced a little bit of heartbreak. And then Vitality versus Geeke. Oh, gosh. I mean, I'll just set up for the 2. I'll set up for another 3-peat. There's cracks starting to show in the armor for KCorp, but I'm not going to get myself baited. I'm not going to get my hopes up. Karmine Corp still will dominate Europe. I just watched NRG terrorize North America again. So this is how it fills out. This is how the points rankings would break down. We'd see Karmine probably qualify themselves for LAN at this point because adding 18 to their score would bring them to 32. Three-way tie. Yeah, this really evens up the points between basically everyone relevant. The only one would be Gentlemates is behind by 2 points, but it would be all for grabs come EU3. So if this bracket plays out, expect a fun closing event for Europe. We're already setting up for a fun closing event in North America based on LAN scenarios. But yeah, that's the European predictions. Again, sorry if I sound a little bit under the weather. Hopefully we'll get over that as I actually get some sleep. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Adios.